600 wins, 6 Georgia State championships, 16 regional championships, 2-time National Coach of the Year, first team from Georgia to win the City of Palms Classic, the nation's #1 high school tournament, first team in Georgia history to attend the Dick's Sporting Goods National Tournament of Championships. He's produced numerous NBA players and professional basketball players all over the world. It's real basketball talk. It's real help and real life with Coach Doug Lipscomb on the BG Podcast Network.
And welcome again to Real Life Basketball. Darien Sutherland and the legend, Coach Doug Lipscomb. Coach, how you doing this morning, man?
Great.
Hey, we had to come in here on Saturday to make sure this show is relevant when it comes out on Tuesday morning for everybody, because the NBA playoffs start today. But hey, before we talk about the NBA playoffs, let's talk about some of our past shows that people need to check out because they're timeless. Georgia Tech head coach Josh Pastner, Bruce Pearl, the Auburn head coach, and recently as last week, Roy Williams from the University of North Carolina, the Tar Heels. We're getting some good guests on here, don't you think?
Yeah, top of the line coaches.
Yeah, no doubt, and they're just keeping it real. I mean, Josh talked about his stuff. Bruce talked to, Bruce, think about this. We got the 2 fastest coaches to 300 wins in the NCAA in the history. They got to 300 quicker than John Wooden, Bobby Knight, Mike Krzyzewski. I mean, anybody you can think of, Roy Williams and Bruce Pearl. So we're in good company right now.
Yeah, good part.
Good part. Hey, let's talk a little bit about the NBA playoffs this afternoon. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back, and we will give you our breakdowns on the NBA playoffs on the BG Ad Group Network.
Real Life Basketball is brought to you by the all-new 2018 K900 at Carriage Kia of Woodstock and Gainesville. Buy your new K900 from Carriage Kia, and we'll fly you in or come pick you up for delivery. Visit CarriageKia.com 24/7, 365 days a year. For America's best deal on the K900, call Chris Stanford directly at 1-866-333-2122. That's 1-866-333-2122.
And welcome back to Real Life Basketball. Man, you know what? Every time I see Kia, I think of LeBron James. What about you, Coach?
Yes, sir.
You think LeBron drives a Kia? He does the commercial. I know he does.
He probably got that just for a kick-around car.
That K900 is a bad ride, though. Yes. I mean, Nick, you've drove one, haven't you?
Yeah, it's by far my favorite car to drive, a Kia.
Yeah, most of the time when we do these Kia events and you're out there, Nick, I always make you drive the Soul or the Forte, and I take the K900. You ever notice that?
I have noticed that. I drive the $15,000 car, and you get the $75,000 car.
Well, I got a question for you. Name the player that jumped over one of those Kias in a dunk contest.
Blake Griffin.
There you go.
There you go. Blake Griffin jumped over the Kia. One flew over the Kia's nest. How about that? Remember that movie, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
Yes.
That was hilarious back in the day. That was Nick, you ever seen that movie?
I have not. I don't think I was born yet.
That's what they used to call Robert Parrish, was Chief.
Chief, yeah. But Chief was kind of crazy back in the day, wasn't he?
Hey, he found his niche.
Hey, I'm going to say this before we talk about the playoffs, and I'm going to challenge anybody out there to look at the stats, okay? Who had the best stats in basketball in the NBA after they turned 30 years old?
LeBron.
You said LeBron. Nick, who you say?
Can I say that rookie that just got called up for the Lakers that's 32 years old, Andre Robertson?
What's he doing? I mean,
he had gray hair hitting, 4 threes?
That's right.
That's it. But anyway, believe it or not, when I say this, and I'm not just saying this because I'm the white guy liking loving on the white guy, okay? You know who it is? Larry Bird, the Birdman. The Birdman did awesome later in life. Larry's not, you know what? If Larry had just keeping it real, if Larry had a personality, he'd be all over TV and have his own shoes and everything else too.
Well, he had those Converse at one time. I saw a special on him one game where he played the entire game left-handed.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I mean, and just think, he went to Indiana. I don't know how we're getting off talking about this because we got to talk about the playoffs. But he went to Indiana, got pissed off at Bobby Knight, and went to Indiana State. Yeah. Indiana State, the Sycamores. When's the last time you heard Indiana State do anything?
You have not.
That'd be like Colin Sexton playing at Alabama, getting mad at Avery Johnson, and deciding he wanted to go to where, Nick? North Alabama, or no, University of South Alabama, or Mobile, or somewhere like that.
Alabama State, yeah.
Alabama State, and taking Alabama State to the finals. You know what I'm saying? It just, and we're not talking about his conference finals. We're talking about the NCAA finals, where he matched up with Magic Johnson, Irvin Magic Johnson. So anyway, you never hear him talking about why he left Indiana other than he just didn't like it. So and you never hear Bobby Knight talk. They must have like a truce where they don't talk about stuff, kind of like the president, something like that. Who knows? They paid each other off to keep quiet.
Yeah, I'll try not to say nothing bad about
I know you will. I know you will. But let me ask you this. I know you don't like the president. I ain't going to pick at you for that. But
you probably don't like the president. Oh, my fault.
You know what? I like both. I've liked both our last two. And people say, "How do you do that?" Well, look at my name and look at President Obama online, and you'll see him talking about me. Will you not, Doug?
Well, he did mention you, and up to this point, I haven't seen anything online where Trump is talking about you.
No, but I got to shake his hand one time. And he is orange, by the way. When I saw him, he's as orange as this fishing shirt I got on today and this San Francisco Giants hat. But I got to step out and say this. Two things. You know, the University of Alabama football team visited with him this week, you know. And I like that one of the players reached out and asked the president if they could pray for him. I like that, you know. Regardless, and the team prayed for the president. I like that. But you know what I like even better than that? Nick Saban. You know what Nick Saban did? Did you hear this story?
No, I hadn't.
He called a recruit from his cell phone inside the Oval Office and said, "Hey, I'm in the Oval Office with the president, and we just want you to know we want you to come to the University of Alabama and play football next year."
What that kid say?
I don't know what the kid said, but I'm just sitting there thinking, that's a smooth move. If the man knew, okay, let me ask you this. If you had a player that loved Trump or loved Obama, it don't matter. We're not talking politics. We're laughing about it. And you went to the White House and you was on the phone and you knew that player was politically motivated and liked it, and would that coach not get a little bit of attention by making that call from the Oval Office, Doug?
I'd say right now, no.
Well, I know you'd say right now, no, but you don't know if that kid if that kid likes Trump or not.
Well, I would say no, but listen, this is the question. The Patriots,
yeah,
they refused to go. Golden State refused.
No,
to go.
Patriots didn't refuse to go. Some of the players refused.
Okay, well, Golden State.
Golden State refused to go.
Okay.
Yeah, which brings us into our next thing. Let's talk about the NBA playoffs. Nick, you're being awful quiet over there.
Well, I was just trying to answer Doug's question about what that kid said after Nick Saban asked him what he's doing.
I want to know his name.
The kid probably said, "I got to get back to chemistry class, sir."
There you go. Hey, playoffs are starting. Let's just go to the West to start it off. Houston taking on Minnesota. It's easy to pick who's going to win this series. But my question for you, Nick, and my question for you, Doug, is Minnesota even going to win a game?
I think they may win one.
I'll give Minnesota 2 games. They got a good young team with a good coach. I know Chris Paul and James Harden are on fire whenever they play together, but I'll give them 2.
You know what? You talk about giving them 2. I'm going to say this. I think Minnesota, talent-wise, is the most disappointing team of the NBA season. Doug, talent-wise.
Yeah, they have underachieved.
They have very much underachieved. But thank God they made the playoffs if you're an Atlanta Hawks fan. And tell us why that is, Nick.
Once they won, we got the 17th overall pick in the draft, securing the Hawks 3 first-round picks, the number lottery, the number 17, and number 30 picks. So
nice.
Maybe we can get more than 25 wins this next year.
Nice. So anyway, so you got Houston winning, I'm assuming, Doug.
Yes.
Nick, who you got winning?
I have Houston winning.
Houston winning. How many games you got Minnesota winning out of, Doug?
I got them winning 1 game.
1 game. I'm going with Doug. Nick, mark this down. Doug and I are 4-1. Houston, you're 4-2. Houston. Let's go to the next bracket. Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Utah Jazz. What you got, Nick?
Oh, I got the Thunder.
I got Thunder 4-0 right there.
Yeah.
Well, I got Thunder.
What's the big kid that played at Georgia Tech's name? It's out there at Utah now. That they're big kid.
Favors?
Yeah, Derek Favors.
They also have Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year candidate.
I mean, and they also got, what's his name? The little boy that can't shoot that everybody thought was going to be so good, the point guard. Ricky Rubio. Y'all remember that name? Ricky, I could do what Ricky Rubio does, I think. I just couldn't run as fast. Back in the day, Ricky Rubio can't even hit a free throw sometimes. Ooh. What's up with that? He was supposed to be all-world. You remember that?
Well, he knows who to get the ball to. Favors.
Doug, let me ask you this question, okay? And I've heard this before from NBA friends. Utah's a good city if you're a family values person, but Utah ain't a good city if you want to be entertained and have a good time.
Well,
Salt Lake City. I've heard that. Have you heard that before? I've heard players think they go in exile when they go to Utah.
I've heard that. I haven't been there, so I can't speak on it.
Well, I know this about it. I mean, I don't want to speak about all that stuff. I don't need to get in it. We don't talk about politics. God forbid we talk about religion today. We'd sure be going to hell before it's all over with. But Oklahoma City and Utah. So I got OKC 4-0. What do you got, Nick? What did you say, 4-0?
4-0.
Doug, what you got them?
4-0.
4-0, no doubt. Move over in the West. I think this is going to be one of the most intriguing first-round matchups in the West. Portland and New Orleans. If there is an upset, gentlemen, I think in the first round, I think this is the upset. I think the Pelicans of New Orleans could win it in the first round. You know, they got the two big guys in the middle. If they had guard play, you take this right here. If you took, and I know I'm being real fictitious here, but if you took Washington's backcourt and put them with New Orleans front court, they could compete with Golden State. What do you think? Bradley Beal and John Wall, put them in the backcourt with Big Carter and the other big guy there in New Orleans. I think it'd be tough. But so I guess since I've been sitting here talking New Orleans, I'm gonna say New Orleans 4-2.
Ooh,
that's bold since Anthony Davis hasn't won a playoff series in his career yet.
I'm
gonna take Dame time 4-0.
You taking 4-0 Portland, Doug? What you got?
Well, I got Portland and 2. I mean, we're gonna give New Orleans 2 games.
Yeah, so I'm the only one that's going to. So are y'all telling me I'm crazy? Go ahead and speak. I mean, don't just hold back because I said 4-2, and y'all sitting there, 4-0. Okay, what do you think?
I think a little outside the box in that thinking.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I don't disagree with you on that one, but I got one that's gonna be even tighter than that. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that in just a minute. So, but you don't think Mr. Davis got a shot there, Nick?
I think Damian Lillard is the second or third best point guard in the league, and if he was on Golden State, he could be doing what Steph Curry does every night.
No,
I think
he
Damian
couldn't.
Lillard.
Don't even go there. Don't even go there. Damian Lillard is nowhere near Seth Curry. He can't even shoot the ball like Seth Curry.
Ooh, he was the fastest to 300, or the fastest to 103 pointers in his career for 1 point.
Hey, let me ask you this question right here. You got one shot to win a game. Doug, you the coach. All right, I'm gonna ask Nick this first, and then Coach, you tell me because you're the expert. We're just the fans, okay? Last 4 seconds of a ball game, they gonna inbound and throw it to your player somewhere behind the 3-point arc, somewhere. Nick, who you want taking the shot, Seth Curry or Damian Lillard?
I mean, I'm going to take Steph Curry on that, but barely.
That's what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Doug, who you taking?
I got to go with Steph.
Yeah, you got to. So don't even tell me Lillard's even coming close to Seth Curry. Most people in this country, unless they're an NBA fan, don't even know who Damian Lillard is.
Well, you can also look at the fact. I promise you, Steph Curry shoots definitely way more threes than Lillard. Come on.
Yeah, he does. But, I mean, I'm just saying, it's a different – truthfully, man, I'd probably take 5 other players than Lillard. I'm just being – y'all love Lillard.
I'm a big fan of Lillard.
Anyway, let's move on. We've given Lillard Too much credit on this show. Golden State Warriors, the number 2 seed. Who would have thought they'd ended up the 2 seed this year?
Well, injuries. Injuries.
Yeah, but you know what? Kevin Durant was injured last year, and they were number 1. But
someone in Vegas is just real mad.
Golden State against San Antonio's the Spurs without Kyrie Irving, and
Not Kyrie Irving.
Not Kyrie Irving.
Kawhi.
What's that?
Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi Leonard. Why I say Kyrie Irving? Kawhi Leonard.
We'll get to that.
That's right. Kawhi Leonard. But Nick, what you got? I got Golden State 4-0. And I got them after 3-0. San Antonio saying I don't even want to show up, and Greg Popovich,
yes.
probably going to a Donald Trump rally or something like that.
San Antonio.
Anti.
San Antonio without Kawhi, and all they have is Aldridge, and you got Golden State. I know they're sitting Steph this round, but you got Klay Thompson, Draymond, and KD. Yeah, that's a 4-0. That's a sweep.
Dude, they'd beat them if they just had KD. You don't even need the rest of them.
Yeah, I'd take KD over LaMarcus Aldridge all day, too.
Because they got what's his name, the big guy in the middle that used to be with the Hawks. What's his name?
Zaza.
My thing with Popovich ought to be, and Doug, tell me if you ever think about this when you're a coach. Popovich is just hoping Zaza don't hurt nobody.
Well, he ain't got many players to hurt.
I mean, Zaza, what do you think about that? A lot of people say Zaza's out there hurting people on purpose. I mean, you've seen the games. Nick, you've seen the games. Do you think he's out there being an actual enforcer?
I think 100%.
Either one of you.
I think he's 100% being an enforcer, and I love it. He's not really trying to injure people, but it's Zaza Pachulia. We had to give him a ceremony in Atlanta when he came back. How many points did he score in Atlanta this year? 3 and 4 rebounds, and now he has a chance to get his 4th ring, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna. Zaza's my hero.
Right place.
Is Zaza, Doug? You know basketball. Is Zaza to Golden State at this point what Bill Laimbeer was to Detroit? I don't think Zaza's the offensive player because he don't have to be because what's surrounded around him. But is he the enforcer that a Rodman was, that a
Oakley?
Yeah. What's his name? It used to play. The guy's name started with a U. Played down there in Miami. Played for Florida. I can't even remember his name right off the top of my head.
You can talk about Birdman.
I mean, you see what I'm saying? Is he that player for Golden State?
He is, and the reason he's so magnified is because hardly anybody ever plays like that anymore. That used to just be common in the NBA.
You know who the best enforcer in my lifetime has been that I've seen, Doug? And I think you'll agree with me. You may or may not. But he could play offense, defense, and enforce. Nick, you're too young to see him play. I'll just tell you. Moses Malone. Boy, when he came to the Hawks, I thought we was gonna have a shot. I was a teenager at that point. Remember, we got Moses Malone. Same year we got Reggie Theus, Dominique Wilkins. We thought we was gonna be something. Guess what? We still ain't done nothing. Poor Hawks ain't done nothing in forever.
The last time they won a championship was in St. Louis.
Doug was alive then. You was a young child, wasn't you?
Most definitely. No, hey, hold on now. Moving forward.
Oh, man, let's go down to the East. But first, before we go down to the East, let's repeat who we got. Everybody's the same except the Portland. New Orleans get the team. I took New Orleans in an upset. So we got Houston taking on OKC, which will be the best second-round matchup of the whole entire thing. Golden State and Portland, and then I've got Golden State, New Orleans. We'll come back to those in just a moment. Let's go down south to the East. South on the paper, East on the map. Toronto at Washington, Nick. Toronto at Washington. Who you got, Nick?
I have Toronto going with it 4-1. I'll give John Wall and Bradley Beal one game, but I like that Toronto team.
Who's the big ball-headed guy? I'm talking about thugs all the time now. Gortat. He's another one of those wants to hurt everybody. They need a forward on that team, though.
They need a lot on that team.
They're number 8 seed. I don't even know why they'd want to make playoffs.
Yeah.
You don't know the truth about it. Doug, who you got, Toronto and Washington?
Toronto 4-1.
Yeah. I got Toronto 4-1. I think we're all agreement on that, Toronto 4-1. Interesting matchup here, 4-5. And I don't think it's interesting on who's going to win, Cleveland and Indiana. I think most of us would go with Cleveland. But let's remember back, of all the players in the NBA, who does LeBron James hate to play the most against?
Lance Stevenson.
Doug?
I think it's Lance.
Who can get in LeBron's head better than any other player in the country?
With one blow in his ear, Lance Stevenson.
Doug?
Well, he can get in his head, but I feel LeBron is at the top of the game right now.
Well, remember what Tiny said to us from up there at Lincoln High School in New York. And if you didn't listen to that show, go back and listen to that show and talk about Tiny, talking about Lance. He said Lance can play with anybody and get in anybody's head. So, how many games you got Cleveland winning, Coach? I know you love in Cleveland. So how many you got Cleveland winning?
Cleveland's gonna win it.
Oh, I know. How many?
I think it could go 7.
You think 4-3?
Yes.
If it goes 7, ESPN is going to have a field day. So is the news media busting on LeBron. LeBron needs to win this 4-0 to just keep the media off of him and get a rest. Is Kevin Love even going to help him in this thing, Nick?
I think Kevin Love will help him. I don't know who else he can really go to besides Kevin Love.
I think he's got less weapons than he's ever had.
Well, the young guys got to step up. I mean, and I think Nance has to show up.
Yeah. Nance Jr., his daddy going to be sitting there. His daddy's a legend there in Cleveland, when he went from Phoenix over to Cleveland. So, you say 4-3, Nick? What are you saying there?
I think LeBron takes it over. I think it's another 4-1.
4-1. I'm going to take LeBron. I'm going to say 4-3 with you, Doug. I'm going with you. Philadelphia, Miami. Philadelphia coming in at the number 3 seed, Miami at the number 6 seed. I'm going to go ahead and say this. Philadelphia in the year 2019 will be the number 1 seed.
Oh.
Philadelphia will be the number 1 seed.
I think that's true. I don't see LeBron sticking around at Cleveland, so I don't see why they couldn't be. And you got Joel Embiid, you got a young core. Whenever they play Fultz, it's ridiculous. I think they sweep the series 4-0. I don't even know who's on the Heat anymore besides Dwayne Wade, and he wasn't even on the Heat to start the season.
Yeah. And we'll figure that out. Then we got in the last match, Doug, I didn't even ask you, what you got, Philadelphia?
Yeah, 4-0,
Philly, no doubt. And how many what you got, 4-0?
Yes.
I'm 4-0 too. I think Mr. Embiid with Mr. Simpson, I think they got a chance to be classic together before it's all over. That's why I said next year they'll be number 1 seed. Boston and Milwaukee. Your boy Jaylen Brown, coach, taking on the Greek Freak. That's what it amounts to. But Jalen's got a little bit more help than the Greek Freak, I believe.
He does, and this is one of those things you got to watch closely too. Milwaukee, this is one that scares me. So I'm going with Boston, but I think Milwaukee definitely is upset-minded. They can do it.
Nick, what you got?
No Kyrie, no Gordon Hayward. I'll take Boston, but that's a game 7.
You think it's 7 games?
Yeah.
Can the Greek Freak win it by himself?
Oh, he has some help.
Yeah, but I mean, he's the Greek Freak. He got his own 60-minute special, coach. Who else got a 60-minute special this year? So
who
anyway,
watches 60 Minutes this year?
What's that?
I said, who watched 60 Minutes this year?
Well, Trump's girlfriend or whatever.
Man,
I'm bad.
Lord have mercy. They was praying for Trump. Alabama was praying for Trump this week. They said, Lord, don't let him mess with no more of them women we seen on 60 Minutes. That's what they was talking about over there. You can hear your granny crying out right now. Lord. All right, so we got Boston. We'll take a break. Our buddy Devontae Tate with 92.9 The Game's here with us. We're going to bring him in, let him talk about the second round with you. And we'll take a break right here on Real Life Basketball on the BG Group Network.
Come see the Carriage family and experience the Carriage Garage difference.
Kia is keeping it real with the all-new 2018 K900. Drive the car LeBron James drives and other NBA players call their preferred vehicle of choice. And right now, Carriage Kia of Woodstock and Gainesville has your new K900 ready for delivery. Go online, handle everything, then upon completion, we will fly you in to pick up your new K900 or deliver it directly to you. Call Chris Stanford directly at 1-866-333-2122. That's 1-866-333-2122. Ask for Chris Stanford. Carriage Kia, 24/7, 365 days a year at carriagekia.com.
Come see the Carriage family and experience the Carriage difference.
And welcome back to Real Life Basketball. Darren Sutherland, the legend, Coach Doug Lipscomb, our producer Nick Paparelli, and a special guest this afternoon with us, coming in by the way of 92.9 The Game. And I called him Devontae a while ago. Don't ask me why I did that. He's been on our show. He's talked to us before. Deshaun Tate. Deshaun, how you doing, my friend?
Man, I'm outstanding. Thank you guys for having me. I didn't know coming all the way down here I was going to be going to another planet, but other than that, no, I'm good, man. Luckily I gassed up the spaceship before I came home.
Hey, dog, just think about this, man. This is the home of Marietta, Georgia, home of Cedric Henderson, home of all kind of great players. Wouldn't you agree? Dale Ellis grew up right down the street from right here. So Jaylen Brown right here in town. You know, Sharif Abdul-Rahim. Tell him, Coach, he's in the basketball mecca of Cobb County, Georgia, is he not?
Oh, it's basketball, definitely.
It's a basketball mecca. We're going to the second round, Deshaun. We'll let you get feeding in on, and you can give us your remarks on here. Let me ask you this, Deshaun. Looking in the first round matchups before we move to the second round, you know, the only person that was bold enough to go out and say there was going to be an upset in the first round, meaning a lower seed beating an upper tier seed, as I said, New Orleans had a shot to beat Portland. Do you see any lower seeds in the first round potentially winning 4 games and going and winning?
Yeah, I see a couple, actually, especially in the Eastern Conference, you know, between Miami and Philadelphia. I mean, don't forget Miami is a team that, or an organization, rather, maybe obviously not the same team that they did when they had the Big Three, but or Big Four, rather, with Ray Allen included. But they know what it takes as far as the organization. You know, they've been there, and this is still the same, you know, very similar coaching staff, same, you know, front office, things like that, to at least kind of get guys prepared from a mental standpoint, and that's something that Philadelphia doesn't have. Now, I don't think that there's a question or that anybody would question if Philadelphia necessarily, that they're new, you know, to all of this, and that they're more talented, though. So that's just one that sticks out, because we're not going to sit here and act like just because Philadelphia is a 3 seed like the last how many years that they just haven't even been close to making the playoffs. I don't think they're that far from that, and they're still really young. And then, of course, you know, the Boston and Milwaukee series is very intriguing. I think that if that game goes 6, then Boston has some things to worry about. But certainly if it goes 7, I think that at that point that's when they can go either way. But when you guys were talking about the Greek Freak and the help that he has, and or lack thereof, that those guys are definitely going to have to step up. But you better believe without 2 starters, and not just any starters, but between Gordon Hayward and, of course, Kyrie Irving, one of the best point guards in the league, they're going to need some help along the way as well. So, and you know, they're relying on some young talent too, you know, between Tatum and Brown.
Yeah. What do you we mentioned earlier, and I think this is another intriguing matchup in the East. The one player that gets on LeBron's nerves more than anybody else in basketball is Lance Stevenson of the Indiana Pacers. Is he going to have any effect on Cleveland whatsoever? And if it goes 7 games, is the media going to be so hard on LeBron that that's going to wear in his head, or do you think LeBron wants that pressure?
Well, I don't think, as far as someone getting into LeBron's head, I think that stuff is personally a little bit overrated. I mean, LeBron James has been the most highly touted basketball player, probably, especially with the social media era and all that good stuff, that I think, for sure, that I've ever seen. I mean, I'm a young guy, but I don't think anybody, you know, with all the pressure that he has, and granted, he's done a really good job with it, there's nobody that can match him talent-wise or just, you know, having mental stability on the court. From that standpoint, so I think that part is a little overrated. And then just the second part of your question, what was that?
Can Lance Stevenson get in his head?
Maybe a very little bit, but at the end of the day, I mean, LeBron James pretty much controls his own destiny. Now, the thing is the guys surrounding LeBron James, some of those guys are very familiar after they got rid of some of the last ones. Some of those guys are very unfamiliar to these situations too, with some of the young guys that they brought in. So at the end of the day, I don't think that will be nearly as much of a problem. However, I will say that it could be an interesting series. I mean, yeah, they're going to give LeBron James crap if LeBron James does, if at any point before the Eastern Conference Finals that LeBron James has a team that he's playing up against that goes potentially 7, maybe even 6 games, then people are going to start calling for LeBron James' head, I think. And it's only because his name is LeBron James.
Yeah, his own coach. Coach, what do you think of that? I mean, we both said Philadelphia 4-0. Deshaun's coming in here saying, hey, man, maybe they get Miami's got a chance. I mean, I don't know. I think you're off base, boss, but, everybody's got their own opinion. That's why I don't bet, and that's why Vegas is all crying because Golden State's the number 2 seed, too. So, but what you got, Coach? I mean, any potential upsets other than that first round? I know we've already discussed first round, but anything you thinking of right over there?
No, like you said before, I'm with the Boston Celtics because, Jalen's my guy, and that's the only potential one I see.
Yeah, if it goes to 7, one player can take over one game and win it all. Let's go to the second round. And talk a little bit about that. The best second round game overall, guys, which I believe there is, the best second round game overall, Houston at Minnesota. Not in Houston. I mean, Houston at Oklahoma City. What am I talking? I'm messing Deshaun's name up. I'm messing all these things. Houston at Oklahoma City. Either team could win. I mean, in my opinion. But if I'm going to have to say, Nick, you go first. Where are you going with this one?
I'm going to go with Houston. I'm going to go with James Harden and Chris Paul. I'm going to take them. They're unstoppable together, and I think OKC still has some growing problems and chemistry problems going on, but they'll get it together soon enough, hopefully. It will be a 7-game series and super entertaining.
Coach, what you got?
I got Houston.
You don't think what was it 4-0, 4-3, Coach? What you got?
I see at least 4-2.
4-2. Man, y'all ain't giving Russell Westbrook no love whatsoever.
Oh, he's a player.
No love whatsoever. I know he's a player, but 4-2. I've used him on PlayStation. I know what the man can do. Deshaun, what you got?
Houston, OKC.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be tough. I don't think that it will be very much of a stretch as far as saying that OKC can win this. I mean, they've got we're talking about this stuff is about experienced players. When you're talking about the playoffs, the possession starts slowing down. Every possession counts at that point.
Yeah. And
things are a little bit different, And even though OKC don't necessarily have the experience, I mean, they've got players that have been in these finals and know what it takes to get to that point, So I think a lot of that, as far as the X factor, will be on guys like Carmelo Anthony, who hasn't necessarily been to that point exactly. But I think that's a potential 7 that OKC can win. But I think for now, it's just way too difficult to go against Houston.
You know what? I'm gonna go with Houston just because all y'all going with Houston. How about that? Is that fair?
Yeah, it's called peer pressure.
It's called peer pressure and being on a bandwagon. Next series, y'all have all got Portland and Golden State. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I don't care if Portland plays Golden State or Portland. I mean, New Orleans or Portland. I believe Golden State's gonna win at 4-0. I really do. I think New Orleans is going to pull the upset, like I said, against Portland. I think, Nick, you ranked Damian Lillard way too high. Coach, he likes Portland. Coach, you think Golden State's going to win at 4-0? What's your thoughts?
No, not 4-0. I'm with 4-2.
4-2. Mm-hmm. Damon, what you got?
I'm gonna go Golden State in 5 games. I think the more intriguing series here will probably be Golden State against San Antonio, just because of their experience. Now, when you start talking about second round, I think guys were going to start becoming healthy for Golden State all over again, and they won't miss a beat. And you're talking about who does Portland hang their hat on the most? Those 2 guards between McCollum and Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
you talking about guard matchups. I mean, Golden State has that. They won't struggle. Now, if they were going up against some bigs that can cause Golden State some problems a little bit, I think it might be a little bit of a conversation where you start talking about.
Because then Golden State just put the big guy in there and tell him to elbow somebody and trip them and be all right. So, yeah, So we got Golden State coming out against Houston in the Western Conference Finals. Eastern Conference quarters. Coach, Toronto at Cleveland. Very, very intriguing matchup there, Coach. What are you thinking in that matchup, Coach? Cleveland. You just don't even give Toronto no love at all.
Oh yeah, I love them. They gonna show up, but I got to go with LeBron's and that crew. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be.
Before we go any further, you got LeBron going all the way to finals.
We'll talk about that one.
Man, we got to talk about fishing, by the way. Coach won't come over to the house and go fishing. You like fish?
I'm not a fishing guy.
You're not a fishing guy.
I'm strictly 24/7 basketball. I've been fishing one time in my life, and my uncle laughed at me, cried laughing because I was dressed like I was going to the beach. Didn't know what to wear.
He come in here this morning saying, man, what's up with all this orange looking fresh like I'm going to a rap concert? I said, this is my fishing shirt. It's my fishing shirt, Coach. Come on now. So anyway, you got my fishing shirt. I always wear a baseball hat. If you ever see me, I got a different baseball hat on every day.
Sounds like
so I just had to put the fishing shirt on. But Cleveland, Toronto, Coach got Cleveland going. What are you going to be, Coach? 4-0, 4-2, 4-3, what?
4-3.
4-3.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Tate, what you got?
Cleveland, Toronto?
Yeah.
I'll take 4-3 on that, Cleveland.
That's 2 4-3 seasons and 2 4-3 matchups in a row for y'all for Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Nick, what you got?
I want to say I want to take Toronto, but if it goes to Game 7, I trust LeBron taking over the game and just running away with it than anyone on Toronto's team. So I'm going to take Cleveland 4-3.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going with the crowd. I'm not going with peer pressure because I believe Mr. Lowry is going to get them up there in Toronto. And people in basketball right now have forgotten how rabid the Raptor fans are right now over this team. Okay? And they ain't got a hockey team to root for in Toronto, which is the motherland sport, so to speak. So Toronto is the only NBA team in Canada. I think the whole country's behind them. I think Mr. Lowry's got them all with that big contract he signed this past offseason, making all that money. And you know what? If those guys beat LeBron, that puts them on a level that people will always remember. So they're playing for history, is what I think Toronto's playing for. I think coming out of 4-3, I think LeBron will be tired. I think the pressure's going to get him. I think it's going to wear him down. And LeBron's worried more about whether he's going to play next year in Cleveland or going somewhere, going to Houston or Golden State or Philadelphia or wherever he goes. But I got Toronto, so I'm going to take Toronto. I'm the only one different. Philadelphia at Boston is who I think we all agreed on in that second round. But I think this is where, from my opinion, I think Philadelphia exits stage right. I think they'll be the number 1 seed coming in 2019, but I think Philadelphia moves to the right now. And I think Philadelphia's got some young players, like you said, Mr. Tate, earlier. Doug said the same thing. I can't go against Boston with Hayward, with Kyrie Irving, with Jaylen Brown. I can't go against Boston right there in that game. What y'all got?
I got Philadelphia winning it. Philadelphia's going to get the semifinals. Boston's hurt, banged up. They don't have their full force going. They don't have enough playing time together. They're still piecing it together. It's still a great team with a great coach, but Philadelphia has some young guns that can run, that can shoot, and that can just take over a game.
Doug?
I got to go with Boston.
Well, you ain't going to go against Boston, are you?
No, I'm ride or die.
Ride or die. Ride or die. There we go. Mr. Tate, what you got?
I'm going to go with Boston as well, as I'm scratching out who I had before, which was Milwaukee.
You got Milwaukee. Well, Milwaukee, I'm sorry.
No.
Milwaukee, Philadelphia. Who you got? Come on, keep riding.
For me, it was like a last minute decision. I mean, this Boston-Milwaukee series, I think, is going to be much more intriguing than everybody thinks. I think it's going to be the best. It's going to be maybe not the most competitive, but I think it ultimately will be the best first round. And whoever comes out of that, that's why I have beaten Philly. I scratched Milwaukee for Boston at the last minute. I mean, no Kyrie Irving, that hurts, but I really like guys like Terry Rozier.
Yeah.
And it's tough, man, but I got to go Boston coming out of there to meet up with Cleveland.
Boston. So we've all got Boston coming out. Let's talk about the Eastern Conference Finals. You three gentlemen all picked Boston, Cleveland. I went Boston, Toronto. Y'all tell me what you're thinking on the Boston-Cleveland matchups. Then I'll give you my opinion on the Boston-Toronto matchups, and we got our Eastern Conference Final winner. What you got? What you thinking? Go ahead.
Boston, Cleveland. I'm going to go Cleveland. I'm going to go Cleveland with that. And I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah.
What is this? 8 consecutive finals appearances for LeBron James or something like that? 8? 7? 8? It doesn't matter. It's more than 5. I know that. There's no way I can go against who I believe is still the best player and the most experienced player in these positions, no matter who's on his team.
Yeah.
He walks away from a team and they stink.
Yeah.
He comes to be a part of a team that stunk, and then all of a sudden they're going to finals consecutively. I can't go against LeBron James. For me, it would just be way too silly. I'm not from Missouri. I'm not from the Show Me State, but I got to be shown. It's just that simple.
That's right. Nick, what you got? I got
LeBron James going to the finals again. It'll need be another 4-2, 4-3 kind of type series, but LeBron's determined. LeBron's had a great season. He's carried this team, and he's not done carrying them. He's going to do it. He's going to take them to the finals.
Coach, I even need to ask you the question. You said ride or die, but you've been a LeBron man since the day I met you.
It's going to be a great series, but I'm going with Boston.
What you got, 4-3?
Yeah. Matter of fact, they played the first game.
And you was there, wasn't you?
Yeah.
When you was there, you seen Hayward go down.
Yes.
So, well, let me ask you this. Do you think Boston gets up mentally more to play Cleveland and LeBron, or do you think it's all business and it's just another game?
No, I think it's the big stage, and they're going to get up because they're playing against the best.
You know why I like Boston? And you know who we even mentioned? We've sitting here and talked about Boston. We mentioned everybody from Terry Rozier to, of course, Jalen, but Al Horford.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you remember when the Hawks got rid of Al Horford, we ain't had a Hawk since. When the Hawks got rid of, we can talk about that all day. We could do a whole show on Hawks. They just better hope they draw a good ping pong ball. Speaking of ping pong, you played ping pong lately, Coach?
No, I have not.
You know, Coach, world famous ping pong player.
Is that right?
That's right. Sharif Abdul-Rahim told me when they were in the Olympics, they went with him and who did he say him and who went to watch it?
Steve Smith.
Him and Steve Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Went to watch the ping pong playing because Coach taught him how to play ping pong in high school.
No, we talking about the wide receiver Steve Smith or the basketball
player?
A Sparty man. Then.
Yeah, Sparty man.
Okay, ping pong then, huh, Coach? I'm not much of a ping pong guy, man. I might be the worst. I don't think you guys want to see that. It's like Charles Barkley golfing almost, man. I'm not the ping pong guy, man. My great grandmother can beat me in ping pong.
You know what I'm good at?
And she's dead. So.
You know what I'm good at? Y'all gonna laugh when I tell y'all what I'm good at. I'm good at John Madden football on PlayStation.
Is that right?
Because I whoop Nick.
Until he plays me.
Whatever. and I know it's a basketball show. You know why they all get mad at me? We'll go back to the finals in just a second and talk about the Western Conference Final. They all get mad at me on John Madden because everybody wants to pass and play this fast game. I watch the clock run the fullback off tackles all the time. It drives people crazy. It pressures them. They quit playing. Let's go to the Western Conference Finals. We got a Golden State and Houston. That's a marquee matchup, and the only thing that people hate about it is the games don't start till 9 or 10 o'clock at night, because it's on the West Coast. But we'll start with you, Mr. Tate. You got Golden State and Houston. What you got?
I got to go with Golden State. Like I said, that'll be I think that they're preparing themselves more than anything for this. Everything about these injuries, which I think is still kind of sketchy, I think it's more or less of guys kind of sitting out more than it is guys that are like seriously injured and just cannot play. They'll have quite a few games up underneath their belt from the last couple series.
How many, in your opinion, how many games will Golden State lose on their way to the Western Conference Finals? I mean, you got to win 12 to win it, but how many are you going to lose? How many are you going to lose to San Antonio? How many are you going to lose to Portland or New Orleans? And how many are you going to lose to Houston? What's your totals? I mean, I think that's the real question for Golden State coming in, because if it matches up like it's appearing to with our conversations here, a lot of us are talking Cleveland going 4-3, 4-3, 4-3. Golden State comes in there 12-2. I mean, Cleveland's tired. I mean, that's 12-2 against a 4-3. That's 21 games versus 14 games. Last time I checked, running up and down the floor 7 more times inside of a 2-week period is going to take a little bit more out of the body.
Sure.
So how many games Golden State going to lose?
Well, see, this is the thing. I think that in the event that we're talking about Golden State and Cleveland meeting up in the finals, I think that there's potentially that Golden State could play more games than Cleveland would play, because I think Cleveland has a little bit of an easier road. I think they'll take care of business easily against Indiana, and I think Toronto's a little bit more on the overrated side than they are on the serious side for me. And with Boston being so banged up, Cleveland can go ahead and be waiting on Golden State the way we're used to seeing Golden State waiting on whoever else it is to play, where Golden State still has San Antonio, a really good team, and maybe, the Portland. I think they'll lose one to San Antonio, lose one to Portland. They can't afford to lose 2 to either one of those teams, because a Game 7 will, I'm sure, be ahead of them in Houston. So 3 games against Houston, 3 losses against Houston, and 1 against Portland, 1 against San Antonio. What is that, 5? I'm not great at math. And I think if it goes 6 games, I think if they lose 6 total before they get to the NBA Finals, we could potentially be talking about Cleveland beating these guys.
Nick, what you got?
I got Golden State winning it.
Other than pollen all in your face.
Yeah, besides all this pollen in Georgia that's just wiping me out, I'm gonna take Golden State, but it's gonna be 7 games. But they're unstoppable. They're the best team.
Coach, what you got?
I'm going to shake up the world. I'm going with Houston.
What's that? I can't hear you over.
Houston.
You gonna shock the world? You think it's 4-3, 4-2? What you got?
4-3.
You think Harden's that good?
I think he has help. Yeah, y'all got to give Chris Paul a little credit now.
Certainly.
I do, but he's old.
Not only that, but he's unproven to get to this point and win anything as well. I mean, we've been talking about, when we're talking about Carmelo Anthony and Chris Paul and all these guys in the NBA that don't have rings, some of these guys are just going to end up being the Charles Barkley's, Patrick Ewing, so on and so forth. Some of these guys are going to be the exact same way, and it's because of guys like LeBron James. The same way that it was because of Michael for why guys didn't do it. I'm not sure if I want those guys on my team, because they haven't been able to show that they can get their team past a certain point.
All right, here's what we got right now. Looks like we got Cleveland, except for Coach. Coach went with Boston over Cleveland. Did you go with Boston or Cleveland? I can't remember. Boston. So you got Boston. You got Boston and Houston in the finals.
Yeah, I said ride or die.
Yeah.
They just can't drop them off when we get to the dance. You got to roll with it,
So Boston and Houston. So I'm assuming you got Boston winning it all, because you said ride or die.
Can we just take a break right now?
Yeah. Let's take a commercial break. We'll come right back and we'll finish up the show right here on Real Life Basketball.
Toccoa Falls College in Toccoa Falls, Georgia. Since 1907, TFC glorifying God through seeking and developing leaders who will impact the world for Jesus Christ. For more information on TFC, call 706-886-7299 or visit them online at tfc.edu. That's tfc.edu.
Welcome back to Real Life Basketball. We're down to the NBA Finals. Now, I've already said, I've got right now Toronto and Golden State. That's who I'm going with in my finals. Mr. Tate, repeat who you got in your finals. Come on.
I'm gonna go with Golden State over Cleveland. What is it? Will this be the 4th year in a row?
Yeah, something like it.
Oh my goodness.
Man, we having LeBron James love fest in this room.
No, seriously, and I think LeBron James, I'm gonna be honest with you, for the first time in a really long time, I'm actually at a point where I'm going to, we could be talking about Cleveland and beating Golden State. I don't know. I'm going to go with Golden State, man.
Golden State.
I think Houston could be the team that's there to play Cleveland. I think Cleveland's the automatic for me, but I'm going to go
if Cleveland plays Houston, who you got?
I'm going to go Cleveland on that one.
You going Cleveland on that?
If it's not Golden State, I'm taking Cleveland.
Nick?
I got Golden State, Cleveland for the 4th straight year, and I have Golden State winning it just pretty easily. But if it was Golden State, or not Golden State, if it was Houston versus Cleveland, I think I'd take Houston over Cleveland. I just see LeBron losing in the finals and then walking away from Cleveland.
Can I say one thing, Mr.
Go ahead.
Sutherland?
Yeah,
I think
go
a
ahead.
lot of people forget. We're talking about possessions, slowing down, very critical around this time of the year. When you're living and dying by that three-pointer, if you're Houston, man, that is extremely, extremely tough to win championships and be, just living on that three. Everybody think Golden State just lives on that three line. They don't just live on the three line. They have it a little differently. They have very high IQ players on that team to why they don't have to just settle for three-pointers all the time. I think that'll be the difference, and that's why I was kind of mind-boggled on the whole Houston being their thing.
Coach, you got Houston, Boston. Where are you going with that? Ride or die still? You ain't decided yet. You want me to give my Toronto Golden State pick before you give your pick?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm ready.
I think Golden State's going to wipe them out. I'm serious when I say this, guys. I think Golden State's going to beat San Antonio 4-0. I think they're going to win the next round with it, Portland or New Orleans 4-0. I think they're going to beat Houston 4-1, 4-2 at best. Then I think they're going to win the finals 4-0. I think they're that good. I like you guys think that they've rested these players on purpose. Mm-hmm. I think they like the fact, quite frankly, here's what I believe. I believe they looked at their seeds and they said, we like being number 2 better than we like being number 1 because we like to match up in the second round. Everybody wants to win, but you know what? They know they're going to be there. There's that much confidence, and I don't think Golden State wanted to see OKC in the second round. And not that OKC would have beat them, but I think Mr. Westbrook would have gave them a lot more trouble because their guards can play with Houston's guards on the outside, and Mr. Harden won't get the shots, and Mr. Paul won't get the shots, and their interior guys won't be able to fight with Golden State. I got Golden State in Toronto. I'm just going to tell you right now, I love Boston. I just don't believe Boston's health's going to allow them to come over. I hate it because I think of Mr. Horford, and he's one of my favorite players in all the NBA. Jalen's coach's buddy, so coach is one of my best friends, so I want to go with him. Mr. Hayward can shoot the lights out, but I just, like Nick said earlier, don't think that they're ready. Toronto, it's just their year. If you look at their fan base, you look at how they're screaming and hollering up there. Sometimes when you've got a great team, a city can take a team on its back and carry it and win it a couple of games. Coach, you've been in the coaching ranks for years. You've won 600 victories in basketball. Have you ever seen a time, your team's got to win a game, but you've seen momentum with a crowd help your team push it over the edge, have you not?
Yeah, it works. It works twofold. You could be a team that doesn't normally it's not in a winning situation, and the people jump on it. I guess they would call you a Cinderella.
Yeah.
Then you could be the team that people expect to win. So it weighs both ways. I mean, like for example, everybody loves Golden State. Okay, everybody loves LeBron. So, I'm going with Boston. I love Jaylen Brown and that crew. And you said Philly's going to be the top team next year. They still going to have to run through Boston somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
I don't know why you're looking and pointing and looking at me and saying that. Darren said that.
You said Philly.
I said.
Well, and I'll tell you in the show. I'm gonna tell you in the show why I think Philly's gonna be there. I'm gonna tell you in the show why I think Philly's gonna be there next year. And when I tell you, you're gonna say if that happens, they will be there. And I think you already think what I'm thinking, what I'm going to be talking about in just a second. But I got Toronto going to the finals against Golden State. I think Golden State wins the whole thing 16-3, in all honesty. That dominant right now, 16-3, if their players are healthy. Now, if Mr. Curry's hurt, Mr. Durant gets hurt, then it's a different story. But if they're on their A game, there's nobody that can play with them. The coaching's exceptional. The inside game's exceptional. The forward game's exceptional. The guard play's exceptional. And if you've noticed in the past 3 years, Golden State's defense, where it's a lack thereof in the regular season, shows up come playoff time. So I got Golden State. Nick, you said who you had?
I had Golden State.
Golden State.
Golden State, Coach? Boston.
Is Larry Bird playing?
Yeah. He'll be there. He'll be there.
Yeah, because Indiana done lost.
Gonna bring the Chief back?
We talked about the Chief earlier today. Chief crazy. You know what, though? You got to hand it to Danny Ainge. You know what I'm saying? Danny Ainge don't back up from nothing. Coach, you remember what I'm talking about when I say he don't back up from nothing?
Right.
Y'all guys too young for this, but y'all may have seen the YouTube videos. You need to go look at it. Hawks and the Celtics in the playoffs. Hawks were good, man. The Hawks, man, I was loving the Hawks. You know where I'm going, don't you, Coach?
Yeah.
Danny Ainge gets a hold of big old 7'2" Wayne Tree Rollins, big old monster of a guy, and attacks him in the middle of the game. How big is Danny Ainge, Coach?
No, let's be honest. He didn't attack him. He held on for life until somebody could stop it.
That's a big difference.
Yeah. I
sound a little different.
Yeah, I got you. And then, like, where y'all at to stop this? Yeah.
But you know what? Danny Ainge was a heck of an athlete. You know, he played baseball for the Toronto Blue Jays and actually played in the major leagues.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He was a shortstop, our second baseman, but a heck of an athlete, and he's a heck of a general manager, very, very underrated general manager. I mean, what he's done up there, bringing Brad Stevens along and then building this team around him, you know, Boston didn't have a prayer at one time. He took that whole team. Isaiah Thomas moved them all out, built his own team around Jalen, Al, and Kyrie, and done a fantastic job. Fantastic job. So, anyway, here one more time. Nick, got Golden State winning it all?
Golden State won it all.
Coach, last chance to come off your home court team.
I'm going with Boston.
Going with Boston.
Bay Area. I got to go with the Bay, man. I got to go with Golden State.
Golden State? I'm going with Golden State. Hey, but what do I know? Because I had Villanova losing in the second round to Alabama. I'll remember that, okay? What do I know? Hey, thank you for listening to Real Life Basketball this week. Thank you guys for being a part of it. If you'll do us a favor, go on to iTunes and check like and leave your remarks on this. Share this show with your family and friends. Let them know we're here. We're a growing audience. Go back and listen to some of our other interviews we've had with folks like Roy Williams, Bruce Pearl, Josh Pastner, Jay Billis, Sharif Abdul-Rahim, and many, many more. We promise to get better. We promise to get gooder, as my granny would say back in the day, and we'll have a lot of fun. Real Life Basketball, production of BG Ad Group and the BG Podcast Network.